Okay, I know you're on lockdown, but let's get you ready for that next big job. You're listening to the Master Your Lens podcast, episode 158.
Hey, John Lee Dumas here, the founder and host of EO Fire, and welcome to the Master Your Lens podcast, the photography podcast dedicated to sharing inspiring stories, technical tips, and powerful secrets to help you become a better photographer. And now, your host, Matthew Jordan Smith.
Hello, Photography Nation. Welcome. Today is April 22nd. 2020, the day after my birthday. This year was a birthday unlike any I've ever had. And for those of you who've had birthdays during COVID-19, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very different this year. Usually on my birthday, I like to have a portrait made to document another year of my life. But this year, it is definitely very different. I think a photograph should say something about the times we are living through. So I thought about that. I didn't want to do the average portrait. I didn't even want to light it the way I normally would. Let's face it, we're living through different times, and our pictures should reflect that. So I made my portrait with the help of my wife. And I've posted my birthday portrait on my Instagram. I'd love to know what you think. So if you get a chance, go check it out and let me know. So I just got off a Zoom meeting. Like many people in the world, a lot of us have been using Zoom to connect with friends and family, to have meetings. I've been using Zoom for the past 3 years to teach all of my one-on-one students, and I also use it for consulting. Earlier today, I had a consulting session, and the photographer is from the UK and mentioned that just this week, Parliament used Zoom. Imagine that. All of the United Kingdom, Parliament used Zoom platform to have their meeting. Thank God we have amazing tools today to do things like that. Earlier this week, I met with a bunch of my friends through Zoom, and we were all in different parts of the world. I know there are many platforms out there, and there have been concerns about Zoom and security, but there's now password encryption, and if Parliament is using it, I think we're all pretty good. I say all this just to let you know you don't have to feel like you're by yourself, or feel alone as we all go through this COVID-19 crisis together. I've heard from a lot of friends. Yesterday was my birthday, and for that reason, I've been hearing from a lot of old friends, and some expressed that they've been feeling rather lonely, being quarantined or locked down. But we don't have to. As a matter of fact, this is probably the best time to reach out and speak to clients, friends, and family. So if you haven't done so, I would highly suggest getting on Zoom and connecting. All right, let's jump into today's lesson. I mentioned a moment ago that I just got off a meeting doing a consultation with a photographer. You may know that I have a photography training course. The course is called Photography Lighting Course. At the moment, it's closed for enrollment. But sometimes photographers want just a consultation. Maybe you're up for your first big job, and you're feeling nervous about how to go into the job, how to prepare for that job. This is when consultations are really good. So let's say you're up for your first big job. How do you prepare? Well, the first thing I want to do is go through every aspect of the job. What's required for me to shoot this job? So start there. Think about all the gear you're going to need. I will go through all my equipment to make sure I have everything I need in terms of gear. But what if you don't? On big jobs, I will rent gear. Don't feel like you have to own everything. For a lot of very big jobs, it's very possible you won't have everything that you need. But there are many places around the world where you can simply just rent gear. I always start by going through the job mentally and figuring out what I need in terms of my gear. So I'll go through all the camera gear first. What do I need in terms of camera gear? My cameras, my lenses. Will I need a body to shoot video? Will I need a body to shoot behind the scenes? What if my main camera goes down on me? Do I have a backup? These are all the things that go through my mind as I am preparing for a job, starting with my gear. After I go through my camera gear, then I'll go through lighting gear. How many lights do I need to do this job? What type of lights do I need to do this job? Then, what light modifiers will help me best to give my look to the job? Can I do this job with one light? Or will I need multiple lights? Even if I think I only need one, I don't want to go into a job with just one light. What if that one breaks? Having backups on your gear is essential, especially for big jobs. Let's say I get a job where I'm just shooting portraits. I know I can get the job done with just a little bit of gear, but I don't want to go into that job with just a little bit of gear. If I'm renting gear, I always rent more than I need. Maybe I'll have a second body, because you never know. What if you drop a lens, or you drop a camera, or you have someone helping you, an assistant, and they drop your camera? Having a backup gives you this assurance that you can get through your job and do your best. Trust me, things happen on jobs. And the bigger the job, the more likely something's going to happen. I try to rent gear as much as possible. So during the job, I'm not worried about something going down, because if it does, I am prepared. If you've never had gear go down on you on a job, just wait. It's going to happen. But if you are prepared, it will not throw you off. And when it comes to your big jobs, you must have extra gear. Now, if you're wondering if you can charge your client for rental gear, absolutely. It's very common and necessary. And the bigger the job, the more important it is for you to have backup. Let's say a client hires you to do an advertising campaign, and you go into this job just with the gear you own. And maybe you only have one of everything. Things happen that you can't account for, that you can't plan for. We are all going through something right now that nobody planned for, and all of us are making adjustments. But when this is over, everybody is going to want to have pictures made. Every client in every industry is going to want fresh, new images post-COVID-19. So prepare now, because we're all going to be busy. Now let's go into the lighting gear. What type of lights will you use? Will you use strobe lights alone? Or will you use constant lights? Or a combination of both? What type of modifiers will you use on those jobs? There are many types of modifiers. A softbox, an octabank, a strip bank, a beauty dish, a magnum reflector. These are just a few of the options we have as photographers. What's going to help you give your look to this job? Will you need grids? Write a list of all the gear you think you need. Once you have this list of gear down, your cameras and your lights and modifiers, take a good look at this list. Is anything missing? Visualize yourself on the job and imagine that your camera goes down. What will you do then? It's critical that you have backup, and the cost of having backup gear is much less than you trying to redo a job, bring everyone back, and dealing with the embarrassment of gear going down. Make sure you are prepared for everything and anything. Now, once you have your list of gear all around you, I want you to visualize yourself on the shoot. Visualize yourself using your camera, your lenses, your lights. Now, how many stands do you need for all your lights? And what type of stands will you use? I love using C-stands. How high do your stands go? How low do your stands go? What if you are in a very small room? Can you manipulate your stands to work for you? C-stands give you amazing options. But stands are not just for your lighting gear. Maybe you have a fan or a wind machine, or maybe you need them for a black flag. Think about everything. Okay, now you've got your gear. You feel good about it. Look at your gear list again. And now think about all the supporting elements you might need outside of your lights and outside of your cameras. What else do you need to get this big job done? Maybe it's something small, like gaffer tape. On every job I do, I have gaffer tape. Maybe you'll need to tape your cords down to the floor so nobody trips over your cords. Think about every part of the job. No matter how big or small your assignment, pre-production is the most important part. You, as the photographer, visualizing everything you need to make this job come to life and make it easy for yourself. Very often, it's the small things that get overlooked. So make that list of all your gear, all your cameras, all your lenses, all your lights, all your modifiers, and all the supporting elements you'll need to take on your shoot to make sure you get the best images without worrying about your gear. On your photo shoot, you don't want to have your mind distracted by thinking about gear. On the job, it is about you focusing on getting your shot. Now, in the next few weeks, we're going to go into detail about how you can prepare for your next big job. We are all witnessing how important visuals are during this time of COVID-19. Have you noticed? Photography is more powerful than ever before. And people all around the world are seeing how visuals are so important. Not just video, but still images. It's the still images that are telling the story, that are making an impact. I would highly suggest for you to document everything that's happening around you, including you. At the start of today's podcast, I told you I just took my birthday portrait, but I didn't want to look like the average portrait. So I put a spin on it to look like April 21st of 2020. And you should do the same. Document your life, where you are, how you're feeling, and however you're feeling, even right now. If you were hired to put that into a picture, to make a picture that looks like how you're feeling. What would that look like? Put that in your photographs. In the future, you'll be really glad you did. Now, how do you get those big jobs? It starts right now, even while you may be on lockdown, in quarantine. You start preparing now. We normally don't have this time. Use it wisely. Use it to prepare yourself for those big jobs that are right around the corner. In the next few podcasts, we will go deeper into how to prepare for your next big job. And if you are interested in doing a consultation session with me, feel free to email me for information. Send an email to info@matthewjordansmith.com. You may or may not know that I have one-on-one students, but I only take 10 students a year. For all of my one-on-one students, it's a 1-year commitment, and we work together every single month. But maybe you have something small and you need help. Consultation sessions are available. These are 45-minute one-on-one sessions. Maybe you want a critique of your work. Maybe you want specific one-on-one help in dealing with one problem that you have. Send me an email at info@matthewjordansmith.com, and let's work so you can have more success when this is all over. All right, Photography Nation, that's going to do it for today's session of the Master Your Lens podcast. Be safe, wash your hands, stay inside, and let's connect. Again, for those who may be interested in consultation sessions, feel free to email me at info@matthewjordansmith.com. Stay positive, keep your head up. We will all get through this together. Until next week, always dream big. Bye for now.